Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at a brand new pair of truly wireless earbuds that's going to look somewhat familiar if you've been somebody that's followed this channel. And the pair we're going to check out is the Crazo Pro. Now this is actually an upgraded version of the Funkle Pro that I reviewed a little while back, but the company reached out to me and said that they listened to the video and they wanted to make some upgrades based off some of the suggestions that I had, which definitely had it where I was interested in checking these out again, because if a company's willing to listen to what people have to say and they want to make adjustments, I'm all for checking out any type of improvements. So today we're going to check these out, and they actually retail for $45, but on Amazon at this moment there is even a $10 off coupon, so you can pick these up for $35. And you don't usually want to invest a whole lot of money in a pair that you're going to use at the gym or if you're going to be using them to work out. So I definitely see this pair appealing to a lot of people. But we're going to check out some of the specs, the features, what you get inside the box, and see if it's worth the $45 price tag. So to start with, these are using a 13.6 millimeter dynamic driver. They've also upgraded the Bluetooth to Bluetooth 5.0 that has better range, so you can get about 50 feet away from these and not have any dropped connections. As far as the IP rating, the old one had an IPX5, where they have now upgraded to an IPX7. And the reason that's important is you want to have a pair of truly wireless earbuds that's completely waterproof if it's going to be a pair that you're going to use out and about, because it is going to be something you could drop in the water, or you could be out running and it starts to rain heavily, and it's nice to not have to worry about the earbuds in your ears. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. And another huge upgrade is they went from a micro USB cable to now using a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, battery life is also a huge improvement, because on the originals you could get around 6 hours of battery life on the earbud, where now you can get 10. And on the old case you can get around 24 hours total, where now you can get around 60. And in my opinion, that is a very nice upgrade. And these also have the fast charge feature, where a quick 10-minute charge will get you 2 hours worth of use. Now, moving over to looking at the case itself, again, because it's the sports style earbuds, it does have a much larger case. This isn't going to be as easily pocketable for some people, especially if you're wearing really tight jeans, but it is a case that you can just throw in a bag, or if you have larger pockets, you're going to be fine. Now, the case itself, you have your USB-C input on the back, and then right next to it is the single indicator light. Now, this was something I wasn't a huge fan of on the original, just having the one little light on the back, and really it only shows your charging status when you're plugged in. So this is something I wish they would have changed, but they didn't. Maybe again they'll listen and change this in a future upgrade, but other than that, it's a pretty solid case. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, like I said, these have the sport ear hook style design. The hooks on these are very soft and very flexible. Now, that's important because you really do have to put these in and angle them in a way so that they're nice and secure. But you also have the ability to take the ear hooks off if you just want to use them basically like a basic earbud, although it's not really, because it does kind of stick out a little bit. I did notice I had to kind of wiggle these a little bit to get the fit just right, and I also had to change the ear tip to make sure that I had the right one, because initially the one that came on it, I couldn't get a good seal and it did not sound good right off the bat, but we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the sound. Now, as far as your controls, it does use touch controls, and this is another thing that they definitely improved upon and also kind of pulled back on from the originals, because on the originals the touch controls work great, you could control everything, but the controls were reversed. So on your right side, instead of skipping forward, it was done on your left side. It was very confusing. Now they have it where all the controls work the same on both sides, but now they don't have volume control. So I really wish they wouldn't have dropped volume control, and that's not something they can upgrade during an update, because these don't use an app. So they do control your play and pause, skipping your tracks forward and going backwards, but you don't have volume control unless you summoned your smart assistant or you have to pull out your phone. Now, as far as you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, you'll be happy to know that you can use either the left or the right, and they also switch into mono mode. So if you're just going to be using one, you're going to have all that audio come out of one earbud instead of it just playing what maybe the left would normally play, which means you're going to miss out on what the other one would be playing. So it's very nice that it switches over into mono mode so that you're not missing out on anything. Now, as far as the microphones on these, this is definitely not going to be the reason that you want to buy these earbuds. I think they could have done a little bit better job with the microphones, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
All right, guys, so here is a mic test of the Krazo Pros. I definitely do not think that this is a strong point for these. I noticed that there's a slight buzzing in the sound, and then my voice just doesn't sound very natural. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test for the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. The first thing that I want to point out about the sound is these are much louder than the originals. That was definitely one of my complaints. I felt like they sounded good, but they lacked volume. These definitely do not lack volume. They still retain that spacious, airy sound that I liked in the original, but I do have one complaint when it comes to the sound overall. I think if you're somebody that listens to rock or metal or anything that has a lot going on, these easily get congested. It feels like the bass just kind of drops off and it lacks any kind of control that it has if you're listening to other genres. So I really think they sound great with pop and hip hop. Definitely easy listening or anything acoustic, these sound excellent with. I feel like the bass has a nice punch to it. It's not overpowering. It's not anything that muddies up the sound, again, unless you're going to be listening to something more chaotic. The mids and the treble are turned up just enough where it sounds natural. It doesn't feel like they're trying to turn the treble up too much. Again, because the airiness in the sound, it really feels like you're in a live environment when you're listening to your music. Now, as far as the sound stage, the sound imaging, because of the airy sound, it gives you the illusion that you're in a much larger environment. I feel like it handles details okay. It's not the best that I've heard, but again, this is a $45 or sometimes $35 pair of earbuds, so it's kind of hard to nitpick that. But again, depending on the genre you listen to, it can sound muddy, it can sound congested. I listen to a lot of rock and a lot of metal, so it definitely left me wanting more when it comes to those genres, but all the other genres it handled well. And if you're going to be in the gym, most people listen to more upbeat like EDM or pop or hip hop, so you're going to be fine when it comes to those genres. Now, as far as some of my other cons with these, the controls definitely need to be fixed. Just add volume control and then you're good to go. And then my only other complaint is the sound being too congested when it comes to those genres with a lot going on. Now, if you're not somebody that listens to those type of genres, you're going to be completely fine, and this is an absolute steal at the price. But if you are somebody that listens to a little bit of everything, you may want to steer away from these because it definitely just falls flat when it comes to those genres. But overall, for the price tag, this is a really good pickup. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Krazo Pros. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.